The baby was born without a brain. 3 years later, doctors discover this. Hello, friends. For new parents, the birth of a child is always a miracle that they've been anticipating for so long, listening to every new movement and feeling. Every day, moms-to-be look in the mirror and realize that this miracle's just around the corner, that the first and most important meeting is about to take place. It was the same for our story's heroes, the young Olaf family from Canada. The couple had been living in harmony for several years, and the day they discovered they were expecting a child was the best day of their lives. The first few months of pregnancy were uneventful. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to be inspired by these real-life stories on a daily basis. Now, let's return to the story. The father was preparing for the boy's birth by painting the walls of his future room and daydreaming about going fishing with his son. Shelley, the soon-to-be mother, was ecstatic about the arrival of a baby boy into their lives. But somewhere in the middle of the pregnancy, the parents received shocking news. Following another checkup, the medical staff was forced to deliver terrible news that struck them like thunder from the clear sky. Your child will not live. A scan of the baby revealed that he's missing less than 2% of his brain. The baby was not developing normally, and he had spinal cleft issues. His head was completely filled with fluid, and his brain was compressed along the inside of his skull. The doctors were adamant, saying that even if he survived childbirth, he'd most likely be severely disabled, both mentally and physically. They all recommended that the pregnancy be terminated, preventing the baby born from dying in agony due to his body's inability to perform the most basic of functions. The parents were going through a difficult time. The mother couldn't stop worrying, and the father tried to help her in any way he could, despite his own depression. But the parents decided not to listen to the doctors and instead did what their hearts told them, which was that the baby should still be able to see the world through his own eyes. When Noah was born in 2012, the family was prepared for the worst, and that's exactly what happened. With his birth, he terrified and astounded the medical staff. The child had a twisted spinal column and no brain. Initially, the medical prognosis was correct. The newborn boy was completely immobile in terms of mental activity, and the scientists who came to examine him immediately marked him with a cross because global statistics said one thing. There had never been a case of recovery from such severe brain damage. Nonetheless, little Noah defied fate from the start, as he breathed independently when he was born. The professor who examined the boy decided that the parents shouldn't get too excited because he wasn't going to live very long. Even if a miracle occurred and the baby survived, he would never be a normal child. As you might expect, this story is among those that the world's medicine and the brightest minds of our time are still unable to explain. All expectations were defied by Noah. What followed was a medical mystery. Gradually, thanks to his parents' tireless care, who believed until the end and did not give up, the boy's body began to exhibit incredible abilities. A scan taken when Noah was 3 years old surprised doctors even more because it revealed that his brain had expanded to 80% of its normal size and had continued to grow. No one could explain how this could be. After all, from a scientific standpoint, this simply couldn't be possible. The human brain has no ability to regenerate or grow, but that wasn't the end of it. Every day, the boy grew more self-sufficient, and by the age of 5, he was almost the same as most children. Noah looked like this 5 years after his birth, and 6 years later, Noah recognized himself as an unusual child. Noah's case is literally one of the most unusual in medical history. Although he's still experiencing some difficulties, his body is regenerating and regrowing on its own. After his recovery is turned into a natural experiment, the scientists from all over the world watching. The medical community only needs to learn. According to Dr. Gregory Scott, a neuroscience researcher at Imperial College London who's studying Noah's brain, Noah's case tells us that we need to look more at children and how a child's brain achieves plasticity and ability to recover. If we can figure out how nature does it, we might be able to improve recovery for adults and children who have suffered brain injuries. According to the specialist, Noah calls into question the general understanding of medicine as a science because it's never happened before. The parents are overjoyed and believe that it's their faith and hope that allowed their baby to recover, despite the fact that it's difficult to explain. This story, however, demonstrates once again that people will still have very little knowledge about themselves and have no idea how certain natural processes occur. The only thing left for us to do is watch and learn. How do you think it's possible, friends? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.